In this session of DesignWorks TV, we're going to talk about getting started with DesignWorks for SolidWorks and the FARO device. The FARO device has two buttons we'll be utilizing. One is green and one is red. You'll start off your process the same way you do with creating a sketch in SolidWorks, other than you're going to create an alignment. So a new tab has been added to this. If you have the DesignWorks probing tool, a new tab has been added. This tool has all the tools for DesignWorks utilizing the FARO arm and probing. This group is for like lines and arcs, your cuts and extrudes, your planes. This is your primitives, and you have some other tools down here for splines and things. The only thing different you're going to do to get started is you're going to align the device to the SolidWorks coordinate system. We're going to utilize the tool in DesignWorks called Alignment Wizard. Now, if you don't select a plane, you'll get a pop-up like this. It says, please select a plane that you want to work from. So select a plane. We're going to recommend front plane, and we're going to select the Alignment Wizard. You're going to be prompted to take at least 3 points. You can take more in the direction like the bouncing balls say. First point, this would be X positive. You could go straight up for 3 and then 4, or as many as you want. So this is like creating a plane in SolidWorks to identify where the part is sitting. So we're going to actually use the FARO here and depress the green buttons. We're going to hold the probe on the table where the part's sitting. Take a point to press the green button. We're going to move to the right, X positive, to press the green button, Y positive, straight up. And then if you wanted to take 4 or 5, we're going to move back over to the left. And to finish the command, we're going to press the red button. So you press and hold that. Now it's asking you, where is the X, Y, and origin? In this case, we're going to use probe location. That's by taking the device and holding the probe there. You have other options for circle center, sphere, and edge. We'll use the circle center for the origin. So we're simply going to place the probe against the part. Now notice, we have it slightly angled away. You do not want to angle it backwards into the part. That's called hooking the probe. So we have it angled away a little bit. We're going to tap the green button. Then it says you want to move an X positive to the right. Same thing. Hold it against the part. Tap the green button. For the Y, we can just move back in space. Tap the green button. And now, for the origin, you rarely would want probe location. You're going to press and hold the red button, then tap it. And you'll notice it's going to cycle through the menu system. We want circle center. So once it gets to the command that you like, tap the green button to accept it. Now we're going to take multiple points around this. For a best fit, we're going to take these multiple around this. You can overlap and back up. Then press and hold the red button. So now we've created alignment, and this is actually stored in the part in the feature tree. So if you had another project that was more important than this one, you could save this part, go work on a second part. When you came back, you do not have to realign this. So there's 2 ways to run DesignWorks. One way, you could select on the command manager, and notice that we're in a sketch. All these tools are now available. Most people don't use the mouse. They press and hold the button on the device, and then they cycle through with tapping the red button. So press and hold the red button, then tap it. We're going to start off by line. We're going to outline the profile of this. Now for compensation, you have different types. Manual, if you're going in a counterclockwise direction, for an extrude, you could use that, and there's also a cut. To get you started, we're going to leave it manual. This teaches you to pull away from the material. So like SolidWorks, you need a minimum of 2 lines to create 2 points to create a line. So on here, you can have more than 2. Again, we're going to angle it away from the part, hold it against the part, tap the green button. Then what you want to do is pull away a little bit, not up. Pull away, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, press and hold the red button, and it creates a line. You could also add constraints if you knew it had to be horizontal, vertical, or fixed. We're going to continue around the part just like you draw it. We're going to take a couple points here, tap the green button, pull away a little bit, press and hold the red. We'll repeat that over here. Notice we always have the probe leaning away from the part, not inward. This is called hooking the probe. Take a few points. You need a minimum of 2. If you want to take it out, you hit the red button, and you can take another one. Then press and hold the red to finish. We're just going to repeat this. Now we'll go ahead, we'll press and hold the red button. We'll tap it then. We'll go into our arc tool. Now the arc tool has different options for compensation. It has manual, boss, hole, and then none. You'd use none like on a point probe. So for this is actually a boss. It's on the outside. You can take as many as you want. Any combo, you could hold the button and drag, and then go back to single click. Since we're on boss, we don't even have to pull away. You can press and hold the red button. Compensates automatically. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim it the way you work every day with SolidWorks. I'm going to hold on the right mouse button and go to corner, trim this up. At any time you want, you could dimension this, because SolidWorks, really and truthfully, it has no idea that this was run from a digitizer device. It just thinks you drew it like you did everything else. Here you can dimension it, whatever you want. Now, since we're sitting here, most people would go ahead for the extrude, where they're hitting the button on the device. They'd hit the DesignWorks Command Manager tab, hit extrude. So you have 2 types you can do this. You can take 1 button press or 2. The 1 button press is used probably 95% of the time. If you do 2 buttons, you can actually offset it. So we're going to pick up the device. We're going to hold the probe somewhat normal to it. You never want to be parallel like this. You always want to be like a slight angle off 90. Tap the green button. Notice over on the right side of the screen tells you the XYZ coordinates. Then press and hold the red. Like SolidWorks, you have to have closed profile. If you don't, you'll get the ding that's not a closed profile, and you'll have to make sure it's closed. So let's continue. Let's just save our part once. You should save, normally every 5 to 10 minutes like you do with SolidWorks. Let's go ahead and do the holes on top. So like you do every day, pick a face, start a sketch. To press and hold the red button, then tap it, and we'll get to the circle tool. We're going to say this is a hole, and maybe you want these fixed. Now, we use regression analysis. So you're not limited to 3 points like you are in SolidWorks. You can either tap the green button and take a bunch of points, or hold it and just drag it around. Because it's on hole, you do not have to pull away. You can just hold it there. There's your fixed hole. By using regression analysis and taking multiple points, you get the most accurate hole. So again, holding against it, you can hold it against the side and tap, 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 or press the green button and hold the probe against it and drag. The key is holding the probe against the side of the part. If you pull away from it, you can tap the red button to take it away. So there we have our 4 holes. We can press and hold the red button and tap it, and we'll go right to our cut. Now in this case, if you're going to do a cut through all, you could use SolidWorks. I'm just going to use the DesignWorks cut. I'm going to hold it below the part, tap the green button. And when you do that, you'll see the XYZ values on the right side. Then we're going to press and hold the red button to finish. So let's talk a little bit about our primitives tools. These tools were derived from our meshing module, and it makes it really handy for you, the SolidWorks user, to rapidly complete your part. For example, probe cone. Imagine if you didn't have a primitive tool for this. You'd have to come over here and draw a circle. Then you have to drag two planes to the middle of it. Then you have to create an axis. Then you have to create the cross section. Then revolve the cross section. Well, with probe cone, you can do it all at once. We're going to say probe cone. Now, we highly suggest that you pick a plane or a face because you want it constrained. In this case, I'm going to pick this face. I want the cone to be perpendicular to the face. If you don't pick a constraint, that cone could be tilted. So, the instructions here say take a bunch of points around it, which we're going to do first. Towards the bottom, towards the top, all the way around it. That's the key. Now the instructions say, tell me where the bottom's at. Hold it where the bottom of it is and tap the green button. Pull away, that's the comp, but don't go above it. So pull away, make sure you're not above the cone. About halfway up, tap the green button. Then it tells you, it says, hey, what's the top? Hold it on the top of the cone, tap the green button. Pull away, tap the green button, then depress and hold the red. And it builds a cone for you. That would take forever, and it assures it's perpendicular to the face. The other ones are pretty straightforward. The cylinder is just like the cone. This is a good one, the probe sphere. You can just take a bunch of points. Pull away and press and hold the button. This is a new tool for 2022, probe axis. So what if you had like a hole out in 3D space? This tool here will work in a 2D sketch as well as a 3D sketch. You simply, and again, you could use this on an angled hole, does not have to be on a plane. You take some points around it, towards the top, towards the bottom. Then it asks you to identify where's the top. We'll say the top's here. Tap the green button. Then pull away and press and hold the red. So it makes an axis and it puts a plane there for you. So lots of cool new tools. We'll hide that for now so it's not in our way. One of the other nice tools in the primitives is probe loft. So imagine this part on top of here. That's very complex. You'd have to create some planes across there. You'd have to use our lock plane tool and then offset the surface. This tool for 2022 even has an offset added. So the probe loft tool greatly improves your productivity. You can actually even use reference planes. So in the event you wanted the planes going from this way to this way, you'd create a plane beforehand, or from this way to that way, you'd create a plane beforehand and pick it. In this case, we don't care. You can put as many sections as you want. I'm just going to say 10. I would leave the fit tolerance alone. Also, you do want to extend this, and that's what's really nice. If we're going to build this bottom, this top surface has to be longer than the square on the bottom. We're going to give it 45. And a brand new tool in 2022 is you can say offset. Now in this case, all the data is taken the ball center. So technically when we capture this, it's above it. We'd want to put -118 because we're using a 0.236 probe. Now if you're in an inch template, all the probes will read inch. If you're in metric, they'll read metric. So we're using a 236 probe, which is actually a 6 millimeter. If we want this to be the correct depth, we want it to be -118. So now you can simply either take some points manually around here. You're holding the probe against it and clicking. or you can drag. You can let up, you can look at it, zoom in, say, well, I probably need some more data. That might not be enough data to build it. We can go a different direction. So I'm keeping the probe in contact, and I'm just dragging it. I'm holding the button down. Maybe I need a few more right here. Now there, I made a mistake. So let's show you something. I don't want those in there. You can actually tap the red button, take them out. You'll see them start to disappear. I actually took them out, and then I completed it. I'm going to put the arm back. That's where you hear that like organ sound. That's actually the FARO. So this is going to create that surface. It's going to extend it, and it's actually going to offset it all at the same time. So this really increases your productivity and makes your job so much easier. So it's creating all the sections. It's going to build our loft. So here's all your cross sections. And then it's going to build your surface. Now occasionally it might skip the surface. If it does, you'll have to do it manually, but 99% of the time it works. The API is kind of old and crusty for SolidWorks, and it can act up. So we haven't saved for a while. Let's save it. And let's go ahead and build the bottom. So we're going to pick this face, start a sketch. You can see it's been extended. So again, we're going to press and hold the red button. Go to the line tool. I'm still on manual. So I'm going to take some points around this base. I'm pulling away. Notice how the loft was extended, so it's bigger than the base. Because if we're going to do it up to surface, it has to be bigger. So now we have our base part. And we can go ahead and trim that up. And here's where you can say up to surface. So we're going to use the feature tool, extrude, and we're going to change this and say up to surface. Now another way you could do is you could actually do that and use a surface trim, but up to surface is easier. We'll pick this and say we like it. And then we'll hide the boundary surface. So the part looks great, but is it right? Now, this has been printed, so it's not perfect. So there's some new tools in DesignWorks 2022 that has not been seen before. So we're going to go to the DesignWorks tab. We're going to do feature to probe. You can actually select one of these by using the mouse, and they'll appear here, or Control A. It selects everything. And as you get down here, you can say ignore outliers, that's default, create to Excel report. You can merge all the faces together, or you have different cells. Now, what you do is you're going to take the device, and this is what's new. Before you would come over, you'll notice the probe is actually going to show you some colors, and you're normal to the part. So as you hold this on the part, the probe actually turns green. If you're away from it, or it's wrong, it shows red or blue, based on your tolerance. Now here's where your tolerance is. You can change this. Before, it only showed it over here in the DRO window. So now it shows it everywhere. We're going to tap and take some data. Now one thing you don't want to do is this is called hooking the probe. If you hold it away from it, notice it shows in the DRO window it's half the diameter away because you're backwards to it. So it's a good little representative now. It shows you some things. So you can see this part's printed, so it's off a little bit, but I'm going to take some more data. Again, you're going to move around and take points all the way around it. And as you want. So now you get feedback on the accuracy as well as probe colors. How about on top of here? So let's tap. Take a bunch of points. You could even drag. If you hold it, you'll see what it is. On the right side of the screen is showing you the readout, but the probe also has color now. So if this is your first time you're using it, you'll want to use Visualize Errors. This button wasn't here in the past, it's new. Most people would create the report because there wasn't a Visualize Errors. Well, now you can say Visualize Errors, and we'll put the arm away. If the arm's out, you'll see something's moving around. You now get to see colored balloons. And to change the tolerance here, you'd hit F1. And you can change the tolerance and make all kinds of other settings. But this is a great improvement for 2022. Everybody was asking, can we make balloons? Now, if you don't like them all stacked up, you can hit this little button here. It lets you select them, pull these away. So you can separate them, put them where you want them. You can select it again and it'll lock them down. That way when you rotate it, they stay together. Again, if you have the arm out, this could float. You want to put the arm back on the holder. So you want to save this to your Excel report. You can hit the S key, but again, F1 toggles the menu on and off of things you can do. So we can hit the S key. You can have as many views as you want. Again, tap the S key, zoom in and out, rotate, whatever. Then green check box to close it. Then you can say create report. Now, I had it on single cells. So there's the first point, second point, third point. When you open up the image sheet, everything correlates. Point 1, point 2, these balloons have numbers on them. And this is your full report for each cell. If you want to merge those, you can say merge them all together. Here's the different views we saved. It's a great upgrade to DesignWorks 2022. You can close this, and you could add your own name and things like that on it too. So you can work on any face, it doesn't matter. There's a hole over here. Pick a face, start a sketch. The arm knows where it's at. So we can go over here, to press and hold the red button. Tap it to get to the command. It's on hole already. We can come in here, take some points, or drag it. You don't have to pull away since it's on hole. Then you go ahead and press it again. Press and hold the red, then tap it, and we get to our cut tool. So you can see how fast and efficient this is. Hold it to the depth of the hole, tap the green button. Notice on the right side of the screen it shows you the depth. Press and hold the red to finish. Now you can even mix and match data. SolidWorks doesn't know you're taking this data with the arm, so let's show you. We'll pick this face and start a sketch. Let's say on this side, part of this we like, and part of it we're going to do an engineering change. So again, I'm on manual. If you have multi-users, get used to looking at this. The user before you might have had it on something else. So we're coming over here. We're doing a line. We need 2 points. We're in manuals. We're pulling away. So say we like this part of it, but the rest we want to change. You can come in here now and use SolidWorks and use the SolidWorks sketch tools. Again, SolidWorks doesn't know you did this with another device. You're like, hey, I need an engineering change over here. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. So these 3 lines we liked. It's part of the part. We need an engineering change to change them. So you can mix and match this however you want. DesignWorks probing is fast and efficient. Now, if you knew the depth, let's say you knew the depth, you can even use the feature tools in SolidWorks. So again, you've seen us use the arm, but let's say I knew that was going to be like 0.75 deep. You could use extrude cut. Again, close profile. You just give it a depth. So again, you can mix and match this all day long. And every feature you created is in the tree, can be modified. So if you went back to any of these areas over here and you want to change any of these, you can. So we've also got like an elliptical shape here. Now we could change the probe, but let's try and see if the 6mm will fit it. We're going to use the spline tool for this. If it doesn't fit, you'll have to change probes. And you would do that by going to DesignWorks and going to the Device Manager. Let's just do that anyway. We're going to go to, let's change the probe. We're assuming you've been through the FARO Getting Started training at FARO Corp. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to change the probe. The 6mm is really too big for that. So there's a lever on the front that you pull down. We're going to do that. We're going to put it in the base position. It's kind of out of the camera view right now. We're going to change probes. So we've changed probes. How do we correlate this with DesignWorks? You go up to the device calibration, and it actually pulls up the FARO Arm Manager, which again, we're assuming you've been through training, and identifies there's a 3mm in there now. You select it and close it. Notice over here in the DesignWorks digital readout, it changed to the 118. We're going to use the spline tool here. So we're going to pick a face, start a sketch, and we could use the button on the device. Since we're here with the mouse, we're going to go into the spline tool. That's got a lot of options. We're going to tell it it's on manual, but you also now have, for 2022, counterclockwise and clockwise. So technically, one of the hardest things is on smaller objects is pulling away. Let's just try the manual once. You can do 4 constraints. In this case, we want closed geometry. Key to this creation, the probe has to be able to fit into this radius. You'll see the 6mm was almost too big. Other options, this is a SolidWorks tool. You cannot back up and overlap. So we're going to leave the minimum point spacing at 50 thousandths. It should be enough. If your part's really small, you can change that. So we're going to hold the probe against the part. So you can go green button, green button, green button, or don't back up and overlap, drag. When you get to the end, don't overlap. Okay, you can see we'll zoom in. And because we're on manual, okay, we're going to pull away a little bit. You don't want to pull past center, imaginary center of it. So pull back just a little bit away, press and hold the red button, and it builds your spline. Now, if you did that another way, you could do it like this. Here's the extrude. It's counterclockwise. We'll repeat it. You don't have to pull away. Boom. Just builds it. So there's multiple ways of doing this. The first one, I think we were actually, we pulled away wrong. Again, you can delete these things. And it's just the nodes are created by SolidWorks. And we can exit the sketch. Now we can use DesignWorks Cut or SolidWorks Cut. Feature, we could say Extrude Cut, pick that sketch, and be done. So this gives you a good overview of the DesignWorks probing tools. We appreciate your purchase and have a great day.